Hello and welcome to the series wherein I will explain everything about color grading in DaVinci Resolve. Before I start talking about LUTs, you need to understand that there are two types of videos. First, you have videos that have realistic colors from the start. This is the case when the videographer has recorded the clips with a basic camera or with no advanced settings. And sometimes there is a problem with that, namely underexposed or overexposed parts in the video. When you're a videographer and you need to record an environment, it sometimes happens that there is a bright and more dark area in the same shot. Let's take this one as an example. So imagine that this is a frame of a video. As you can see, the two persons are well exposed and the window is overexposed. In color grading terms, we would say that the window is clipped in the bright area. And what is clipping? Well, clipping is a loss of information in bright or dark parts of the video, resulting in completely white or black pixels. So there is no useful information in these clipped parts. If the videographer would have used a lower ISO during the shoot, which means that there enters less light on the camera sensor, then the whole image would have looked darker in general. So then the window would have looked well exposed. But the two persons on the other hand would have been underexposed. This means that the persons would have been clipped towards dark. It's the same with this video. I'm well exposed, but you can't really see the posters in the back very well. Some pixels of them are clipped towards dark. If I would change my camera settings to record the posters brighter, then I would become brighter as well, leading to myself being overexposed. To avoid these problems when recording, there exist cameras that can shoot in log, which is an abbreviation of logarithm. If you shoot with a camera that has a log profile, the blacks and the whites come closer together in the camera's interpretation. And this brings us by the second type of videos, namely videos that don't have realistic colors from the start. Because if you have log footage, the bright and darker colors come closer to each other as well, leading to a flattened look. For example, this, or this, or this. As you can see, this footage has almost no contrast, resulting in a very unrealistic look. If you receive this footage and you have never heard about log before, you would think it's bad. But no, it is just footage that is shot with a log profile. Note that only more advanced cameras can do this, and they are in general more expensive. Let me explain you how cameras interpret the real world. It's based on light that falls into the camera sensor. Here is a graph. The x-axis represents the input signal of light, and the y-axis represents the output. So the output is what a video recording looks like. This red line represents a linear curve. Here the input is everywhere the same as the output. This means that the proportion between the dark and bright parts is the same as in reality. If you have an input of 0.2 for example, then the output will be 0.2 as well. The blue dotted line is a log curve, and some cameras can shoot with this logarithmic curve. With such a curve, the dark parts in your video are recorded brighter. If you have an input of 0.2 for example, then the output will be more than 0.4 in this case. And towards the end, you can see that the bright parts get compressed. Log profiles make it more easy to record environments with different exposures. If you record in log, the dark parts are recorded brighter, and the bright parts get compressed or flattened down, meaning that you avoid clipping in the dark and bright parts. But because the dark colors get brighter and the bright colors get darker, this leads to a flattened look. And is this a problem? Well, not at all, because you can fix this in the color grading with LUTs. Later more about that. Log footage is even thankful to color grade, because you have no or less clipping in your shots. No or less clipping depending on the heaviness of your log profile, because the log curve can have different shapes, so you have different types of log. Let me explain you. So if this area was recorded with a log profile, there wouldn't be a problem. Remember that some cameras, especially the basic ones, can't record in log. This video, for example, is recorded with the Nikon D3400. This camera doesn't have the option to record in log. There exist different kinds of log profiles. Camera brands develop their own log profile, or sometimes even more profiles to choose between. The Sony A7siii, for example, has two log profiles, Sony S-Log2 and Sony S-Log3. I leave a link to that camera in the description of this video. Note that there are cheaper cameras as well that include log profiles. This camera is just highest on my bucket list as a videographer because its sensor is light sensitive, which means that you can shoot in dark areas with no to almost no video noise. On top of that, the shift of sharpness is smooth when you use a lens that allows automatic focus. And as said, you can shoot in log with the Sony A7siii. Alright, now that you understand what log is, we can finally go to the explanation of what a LUT is. But first, let me introduce you to the main sponsor of this course, named Dehancer. This is a plugin that extends the functions of your color grading. All you need to do is just drag and drop the plugin once installed. Dehancer focuses on that you can give your digital footage the same look and feel as analog footage. With Dehancer, you get a lot of extra functions, like grain, halation, bloom, a lot of extra sliders to grade, and much more. This plugin is available for DaVinci Resolve. There is a Pro package including all functions. Then you have a Lite package as well, which includes less functions but is a little cheaper, and you can purchase separate effects as well. Apart from DaVinci Resolve, there are also plugins for Final Cut Pro, Adobe software, and it is even available for photo software. They have other products as well, like a mobile video editor for iPhone and iPad with the same effects as a desktop plugin. You can check out every product on their website, and I have a deal for you. You can use the promo code TIM20 for 10% off. This works for every desktop plugin. If you're interested in the answer, I will explain you more towards the end of this video. Okay, back to the video. Now let's go to the explanation of what a LUT is. Here you can see different LUTs. A LUT is an acronym for lookup table. A lookup table is a tool that can change several aspects of your image or video. There are 1D LUTs, 2D LUTs, and 3D LUTs. 1D LUTs adjust one parameter of the image, such as gamma or brightness. 2D LUTs adjust two parameters of the image or video, like hue and saturation, for example. But the most important for us are 3D LUTs, which adjust three or more parameters. With 3D LUTs, most of the time the red, green and blue channel are adjusted simultaneously. To understand this better, on screens every color is a mix of red, green and blue light. With these three parameters, you can become every color in the RGB spectrum. Simply said, a 3D LUT remaps all colors of your video based on a predefined set of values. And even simpler said, a 3D LUT is a color grading filter preset. And LUTs can also adjust more than 3 parameters. Apart from red, green and blue, other things like saturation or luminance, for example, can be influenced. LUTs can be used for two purposes. You have technical LUTs and creative LUTs. Technical LUTs are LUTs that correct the colors of videos that are shot with a log profile. This is a video that includes a log profile. And how can you see this? Well, the only way that you can see this is because the colors are very flat and there is almost no saturation and no contrast. So normally, or you have shot the videos yourself and you know in which log profile they are shot. Or you have received this footage, and if you want to be sure about the log profile, you'll need to ask the videographer. But as long as you apply a LUT which make the colors look appealing, everything is fine, of course. I know that this video is shot in S-Log2 because I found it on Adobe stock. If you search for S-Log2, which is a Sony log profile, you'll find some videos that are shot in log. There's a video description as well here. The most important information is that it's shot with a Sony camera in S-Log2. S-Log2 is a gamma curve that keeps the image flat for grading. The gamma curve refers to the graph with the curve in it that I've shown before. So this is the video imported. So in this video, the dark parts are recorded brighter, and the bright parts are compressed towards darker pixels. This wants to say that the dark colors are recorded brighter, and the bright colors are recorded darker, giving the video a flattened look. So we will need to remap these colors with the Sony LUT. And here we can find the Sony folder already with some Sony LUTs in it. But how do you know which Sony LUT you need? Well, in this project I work in Rec 709, which is just the basic standard. This wants to say that every color in this project is located in this triangle. The bigger shape is the CIE 1931, a diagram that includes all the colors that are visible for the human eye. So yes, there exist some colors that are unknown to humans. For example, bees see ultraviolet light as a color that is unknown to us. Within the diagram of colors that are perceptible for humans, you can determine a color space for your project. And this color space is Rec 709 as an example, the most common in color grading, in which I recommend to color grade. So if the color space is Rec 709, the colors in the project will be restricted to the ones in the triangle. Here are two more color spaces that both include a little bit more colors. And the reason that different color spaces exist is because there are different devices. And depending on the device or devices that your project needs to be shown on to the viewer in the end, you need to choose a color space. Rec 709 is the most common, because it's a good standard for basic devices from computer to TV. And for those wondering, D65 stands for Daylight 6500 Kelvin, which represents the color temperature of natural daylight. This point is used as a reference to calibrate monitors. Easier said, it's used as a reference to ensure that colors are consistent when working on different computers or in varying lighting conditions in the room. If you open a project, this should be standard in Rec 709. This is what you need to edit basic videos like YouTube videos or simple corporate videos that need to be published on the company's website. I will talk more about the color management and color spaces in the next episode, so make sure to be subscribed. So back to the footage. We will need a LUT from S-Log2 to Rec 709. And we cannot find it here. So just Google for Sony LUTs. And here you find some LUTs. I will put a link to these LUTs in the description of this video as well. Click on download Sony look profiles. And here you can find a look profile for Resolve S Gamut /S-Log2. So you can download these look profiles. Let's see what's inside. It's in Dutch and with the windows here, but this is just extracting or unzipping the folder. And now we can see which files are inside. So here are 4 point.cube files, which is an extension for LUTs. We can move these files to another folder. I'll just cut them with Ctrl-X so that it's ready to paste. And now let's open the folder where the DaVinci Resolve LUTs are located. So here we have our files for S-Log3. So I will create a new folder and name it S-Log2. Let's go inside and paste the freshly downloaded files here with Ctrl-V. And for a better folder structure, I'll make a folder for the S-Log3 files as well and move them there. So here we can find the new LUTs. Let's go to DaVinci Resolve. Right mouse click and click refresh. And now the folders are up to date. So here you can see S-Log2. And based on the colors, you can already see which one you need. This one makes the seawater more blue. So let's apply this. For the structure, you can add a new node by right mouse click on the current node, add serial. Let's name it Technical LUT. And now you can just drag and drop the LUT. This is a 3D LUT because it clearly affects the 3 color channels. This is before with flat colors, and this is after with remapped colors. Let's take another example with the same LUT. So here, this video is shot in S-Log2 as well, which results in seeing some details in the curtain. When you drop the LUT, the skin tone becomes more vivid, which makes everything easier to color grade from here. So these were the technical LUTs. Now I will tell more about creative LUTs. Creative LUTs are color filter presets that give your original footage a different look and feel. Here you have a folder with film looks. Here you can find some presets that simulate the color profiles of specific analog stock footage. So you can test them out. If you drag and drop them, you get a whole different look. And I will share a trick. Let's say that you're a Premiere Pro user and you want to switch to DaVinci Resolve. If you have ever downloaded or when you will download Premiere Pro, there come some creative LUTs with it. And I will show you how you can move them to the DaVinci folder. Let's go to the file location of DaVinci's creative LUTs by right mouse click, open file location. And here are the creative film looks of DaVinci located. So somewhere here in your LUTs folder, you will need to place new LUTs. Okay, now we need to find the location of Premiere's LUTs, so you can open a new tab for ease. It's in Dutch and with the Windows, but it's easy to follow on each operating system. So go to your computer, to the root or starting folder of your computer, then click on Program Files. On Mac this folder should be named Applications, then Adobe Premiere Pro with a specific year. It doesn't look like a folder here, but it's a folder, and when you have found this folder, you're on the right way. Then Lumetri, because that's how the color grading is named in Premiere, LUTs, Creative, and here you can find some LUTs. And DaVinci Resolve only supports LUTs with a point cube extension. Select the point cube files and just copy with Ctrl+C on the Windows. Now I go to the folder of DaVinci Resolve again. This is a LUTs folder of DaVinci Resolve. Here I'm creating a new folder again and I will name this Premiere_Creative. And let's paste the creative LUTs of Adobe here with Ctrl+V on the Windows. So now, when you open DaVinci Resolve, you can right mouse click here and click refresh. And now we can see here our folder named Premiere_Creative with the Premiere LUTs in it. These simulate the look and feel of specific analog film stocks as well, so you can test them out. This is a nice one, for example. If you ever need an Adobe product, I will leave a link in the description of this video where you can find that. If you buy an Adobe product via that link, I will get a small percentage, and the amount that you need to pay stays the same. Thanks to the affiliate sponsors, all episodes of this course will stay for free, no matter what, so make sure to be subscribed. And now that I'm talking about sponsors and creative LUTs, the sponsor Dehancer has a lot of film profiles included in their plugin as well. They simulate the look and feel of specific analog film footage. And it's time to go to the explanation of what Dehancer is. After that, I will make a summary of what you have learned in this video. So if you want to see that, just keep watching. As I said, Dehancer is a plugin that extends the functions of your color grading. You can use the promo code TIM20 for all desktop products. With Dehancer, you get extra effects, like grain for example. All you need to do is enable it in the effects. Another effect is halation, which creates orange highlights around light sources, highlights and contrasting edges. If you enable bloom as another example, you'll get a soft, misty looking light glow on the same areas. Dehancer has a lot of sliders as well, to make your color grading in general a lot faster and even better. As an example, let's grade this clip together with Dehancer. Alright, so all you need to do is just drag the Dehancer effect on a node and adjust some sliders. Let's disable this to make it normal. Here you have a black point and a white point. I just try to adjust everything slightly, and everything together will make a big difference. You have a lot of sliders that aren't even in the standard DaVinci grading. These color head sliders are really cool. You can adjust the tone of the shadows, midtones and highlights all separately as well. And basically, that was it. This is the before, and this is the after. The only thing that I did extra without Dehancer was adding a vignette and decrease the brightness there. So you can still combine Dehancer's and DaVinci Resolve's color grading tools. Another cool thing is that you can do things that you couldn't do before. Thanks to Dehancer, I could fix these browns in the background with just one slider. And Dehancer has a wide variety of film profiles as well, that simulate the look and feel of analog cameras with just one selection. If you're interested in buying Dehancer, you can check everything out on their website dehancer.com. Make sure that you're on the right software when you purchase it. If you add it in DaVinci Resolve, it should be on DaVinci Resolve. If you'd like to have all functions, then you should go for Dehancer Pro, which I recommend because this is the main package that includes all Dehancer's functions. Dehancer offers lighter packages as well, but these include less functions. When purchasing, you can use the promo code TIM20 for 10% off. This promo code only works for all Dehancer's desktop plugins. Apart from the plugin, Dehancer has a mobile video editing app for iOS as well. This is an independent video editor that works on iPhone and iPad. It includes the same effects as the desktop plugins. And they have a color tester for iOS as well if you're interested. Now that you understand everything, what's important as a color grader? When you receive footage, you have two kinds of clips. 1. Clips that have very flat colors and have almost no contrast and no saturation. These files are recorded with a log profile. 2. Clips that already look realistic from the start. So on both clips you can add a LUT, a lookup table that remaps the colors of your video. If you add a LUT on the first category to correct the colors, it's a technical LUT. But LUTs can also be used to create an unrealistic look on purpose. In this case, it's a creative LUT. By the way, after you have added a technical LUT, you can also add a creative LUT on top of it. Right-click on the technical node, add serial. And now on this node you can add an extra LUT. So let's just drag and drop a creative LUT. A technical and a creative LUT combined looks a little bit better. So this was the first episode of this series. In the next video I'm going to talk about color management in DaVinci Resolve. So make sure to be subscribed if you don't want to miss that. And also thanks to the sponsors of this episode, Dehancer and Adobe. There's a link to them in the description of this video. Also, I want to make this course a little bit interactive. In the next episodes, I'm going to use a lot of log clips as example footage. So if you have any log videos and you want them to be seen in this course, you can send them to tim.bonarens@gmail.com. If I use your shots, I will put your name in the description of that episode. So this might give you some exposure, in case this course gets successful. Here are some requirements. Unedited log footage or straight from the camera. Maximum 3 clips per person, each clip maximum 20 seconds, as log footage is heavy. Preferably OneDrive or Google Drive links as WeTransfers expire. Add with which camera, lens and log profile the videos are shot. Optionally give some information about location, purpose, etc. of the shot. Optionally give me some feedback on this course, or you can do that in the comments of this video as well. So this was it. See you in the next episode.